So we are starting with the first question. We saw that you were one of the first bloggers who started writing on startups on PuneTech.com, but unfortunately didn't continue further. So what happened?
So basically around 2007-8, I was working for Veritas Software, and there I realized that there are lots of smart people in Pune in the software area, and they are working on a lot of really cool things, but nobody knows about this. There were no events happening at that time, and even the people, they would just be within their own group. They would not interact with anybody outside, even other groups within the company. So I decided to start an internal blog just to give an idea of each group, what it is working on, given that information to everybody else within the company. And that was very successful. But around that time, I decided to leave Veritas. I didn't want to work for a big company any longer. So when I quit, I had decided to take some time off, and during that time I decided, why don't I do the same thing for Pune? So write about the different companies doing tech work in Pune, and that's how I ended up starting PuneTech. At that time, the idea was, I was not really interested in startups, but the idea was all technology work that's going on in Pune, let's have it in one place. Right? Around that time, Pune Open Coffee Club was started by Santosh Davra and Anjali Gupta, and because a lot of the startups in those days used to be tech startups, so we got interested in even that. So we would attend Pune Open Coffee Club events, and so we got involved in Pune Open Coffee Club. That's how we got involved in the startup ecosystem. In the meantime, we were also doing PuneTech, the blog, and that really took off quite well. About a year later, I ended up meeting a couple of people who wanted to do a startup, and they asked me to be part of the team. So then I did my own startup, which is why my interest in startups also grew. So that's how I ended up writing about technology and about startups. Over the years, what happened was, one, PuneTech itself was only a non-commercial activity for me. Uh, so I didn't. The idea was that I would work on it whenever I have free time. So as my own startup got more and more successful, I got more involved in that. I don't have as much free time to devote to PuneTech. The other thing is that the need is no longer there. When I started PuneTech, there would be just one or two tech or startup events in the whole year in Pune. Now there are literally tens of events every week, and so the need for PuneTech isn't there as much.
Okay, so that's why you.
Yeah.
So as you have 15 plus experience of in startup section, we would really like to know that what you think about the current startups and compare it with the previous startups which we have seen.
So specifically, I mean, frankly, I don't have that much experience in startups. I can just talk about what I noticed about startups in Pune, say 7 years ago versus now. So a few things are different now. Earlier, first of all, the number of startups were fairly low. The second is that getting people to join startups was very difficult. So getting employees was very difficult because startup was not a concept that people really understood or believed in. So very often what would happen is that a startup interviews somebody, and they go through multiple rounds of interview and then multiple rounds of salary negotiation, and in the end the person says, oh, I don't want to join a startup. Similarly, for youngsters also, their parents would put pressure saying that you need to join a well-known company like Infosys. That is now changing. Now startups are seen as cool. Flipkart and Make My Trip and all that, they have made it into the mainstream. So now people know about startups. More people are willing to join startups. The third thing that is different is that now we have had a couple of rounds of startups failed and some successful startups also. So people who are in the ecosystem, the founders, they have more knowledge and they have better mentors now. So in general, the maturity of the startups has increased. Of course, we still have a long way to go, but it's been improving.
Uh, Besides this, you also started a startup called Reliscore,
Yeah.
which is working on also education sector. So tell me something about it and how it all started.
So when we were doing PuneTech, one of the things we realized that companies were all asking us that we want to advertise for jobs on PuneTech, right? And we didn't do that because PuneTech is a non-commercial entity and we didn't want to take advertisements. So that was always there at the back of our mind that companies are having trouble attracting good people. In the meantime, a lot of people who were say quitting large companies would all of them would feel that our education sector has a problem. We need to do something about it because we have lots of smart students who are not learning the right things from their colleges. So a lot of these people used to feel that I should do something about this problem. And we firsthand saw a bunch of such initiatives where these people from industry would quit their job. They would start some initiative where they want to teach something to the students, teach them actually good quality work and skills that industry is interested in. And all of them failed primarily because the interest is just not there. Students are not interested in learning. And there we realized that you can't, at least the stage that we are at, you can't do something interesting in the education space by focusing on telling students that you will learn something. Okay, students don't want that. What students want is jobs. So then we decided that what we should do is force them to learn something under the guise of jobs. So what we do is we decided that suppose I want to teach students that they should be doing programming much better than whatever they are doing right now. What we do is we set up a test saying that if you can do this programming problem, then XYZ company will give you a job. Obviously, because of the job, the students are interested, they jump at the chance, they try it, and then they fail. And then we can tell them, okay, you failed because you didn't know XYZ. If you read up this article or if you read this section of the manual, maybe you will be able to do better. Try that and come back.
Yes.
Right? So this is a way to get students to learn. But for that, what we needed was we needed to give them an incentive of jobs. So that's how we have ended up doing Reliscore. The long-term goal is still that we want to shift focus away, students' focus away from theoretical knowledge and the kind of stuff they learn in college to doing real things, useful
practical stuff.
things, practical stuff. And we feel that Reliscore is one way of getting there because first you need to have companies who are willing to provide jobs for people who learn these things, and only then you can convince them to do it.
So how much years are now?
So we have been doing Reliscore for about 3-4 years now.
3-4 years. And have you taken any funding?
No, we have decided not to take funding. We want to take it slow, figure out the model properly.
So is it going good?
It's going well. We have about 50 customers. The companies are our customers, of course. We get paid by the company when they hire through Reliscore. So we have about 50 plus customers.
So, are you expanding it beyond Pune or just in Pune?
We are there in Bangalore and Chennai and a little bit
In the major cities in Pune, India.
Huh?
Major cities in India?
3-4 cities now. Not a whole lot of expansion yet. That we will do later when we have funding or we have taken funding. For now, we are mostly in Pune, but we also have customers in some of these other cities.
Can you tell me something about the business model, if you can? I mean,
Basically, right now, what we are doing is that we set up online tests and assessments for companies which are customized to the job profile. And the most important thing that we do is that we don't believe in multiple choice questions. That's pretty much doing the same thing as what your colleges are doing, and we don't think that works, right? So our focus is on making the students do the kind of work they would have to do on the job. So for a development job, make them write programs. For a QA job, give them a program that has bugs and make them find the bugs, and so on, right? And then we have technology which will automatically evaluate the quality of your work, and then companies pay us for the use of this system in their hiring process.
Okay, so which new technologies your company is using, if there is you're using?
So depends on what you define by new technology. So in terms of what we do, which is unique and different, is that the ability to automatically evaluate the quality of your work, where the work can be programs you wrote or bugs you found, or for support it is being able to look at a customer complaint and narrow down the root cause of the bug. For say technical pre-sales or business analysts, it is that you have to do you have an Excel spreadsheet and you have to do some analysis on it and do some calculations. So we are able to evaluate the quality of that work. So for all of this, we have developed our own technologies. That's primarily our what we
USP also.
USP.
Yeah. And what is your size of the company? I mean, how many
Right
team members?
now, it's just two of us and a bunch of contractors who use for specific things.
I mean, that's great. Only two of us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really good. So since you, as you can, there are you have a lot of interest in education sector, as you can say, and you have also interest in SaaS based directed to consumers.
Yeah.
So what you can provide, I mean, knowledge for our new startup who are working in education or SaaS,
Yeah.
they can use any technology, something you would advise on this?
So I think education in the next 5 to 10 years, education is going to change fundamentally, right? Until now, for education, you were constrained by geography. So you had to learn from whoever professor or teacher happened to be near you, right? That is going away, right? With online courses, that is no longer necessary. You can learn from Stanford, you can learn from Princeton, you can learn from the best in the world, right? There are still some things though that don't happen with online courses, right? In a real classroom, when you get confused, you can ask somebody a doubt and you can get an answer right away. With online courses, that's a little difficult. I mean, they do have discussion forums and all of that, and there some of this happens there, but some people are not comfortable with using discussion forums. Sometimes it just doesn't work as well. I have a feeling that those parts will soon be handled by the new AI technology that is coming, and deep learning and so on will handle that. Similarly, let's say you learn something. Just hearing about something or reading about something is not enough for learning. You have to actually practice the skills you learn. You have to use it in a real context, right? And when you do that, and when you get stuck, in a real school, real teacher, somebody would give you guidance that do this, do that. Again, with online, that is not so easy. There again, I see a possibility for use of AI, machine learning, and maybe even for VR, AR to be used, so that you can actually practice your skills, and the system or other people somewhere else in the world who are connected to you through the system can immediately give you feedback and guidance and correct your mistakes so that you can make progress. So these technologies, some of which are already there and some are yet to be invented, that's where the future of all learning is.
Okay, so do you know any startups who are working in new technology, VR or AR in education sector? And have you seen any impact in education sector?
So see, right now I haven't looked very closely, but see, there's another whole aspect to education, which is not education as in college and students, but say education in a company, right? You have new technology, that new product that you have developed, and now your all your workforce needs to learn that new product. Or if you have come up with a new model of your product, all your service professionals need to be able to repair that new product, right? So VR is being used in such situations, so that these guys can quickly remotely learn about the product without having to actually come to some sort of a workshop of school and learn things. Also, just in general, the need for learning all of this reduces, because if a mechanic sits at a car and they wear VR glasses and they look at a wheel, and as soon as they look at a wheel, the glass brings up the manual page corresponding to the wheel, right? Now suddenly that person can do things, to repair things without having to have gone through an entire course, right? So in that sense, education on demand, the kind seen in the movie Matrix, that has already begun to happen. Some of the bigger companies have started working in that.
What do you think about the SaaS-based startups? You are not speaking about that. The SaaS in consumer base.
See, I think pretty much now everything is going to be SaaS, right? It's either SaaS or it is mobile. And even if it is mobile, standalone mobile isn't going to, most mobile apps will also have a SaaS backing. So they're talking to a server. So no, I think it no longer makes sense to talk of SaaS standalone, because pretty much every product, every software product that comes out is going to be SaaS
It is SaaS-based.
from now on. So SaaS and cloud are pretty much the basics.
Like the back end of every.
Back end of everything.
Everything.
Everything. Yeah.
So one of our member asked one question: that how should we build a community that like you built for PuneTech? Because many of the people are still watching, like
Yeah.
me also. So personally, watching PuneTech. So
Yeah.
what kind of advice you can give for startups to build a community?
So, I mean, a few things I have learned about building a community are first, that it is very important to have regular contact in the community of some sort, right? So the easiest way to do that is to have regular events. And one problem with doing any event is that just the coordination of, okay, what time should it be? Should it be Saturday or Friday, 6:30, 4:30? Should it? And then trying to find a place to have the event, that's a problem, right? Just get rid of that problem by having a fixed time, that every month this is the place we will meet, this is the time we will meet. So you don't have to worry about it. The only thing you have to worry about is to figure out what is the agenda, who's the speaker. That makes it much easier to hold events. The second thing which I did with PuneTech, and I think it works extremely well, is get rid of registrations and snacks. Right? Just having to organize the snacks and pay for it and collect payments for the event, all of that just becomes too much work, and then people stop organizing such events because it's too much work, right? So instead, get rid of all of this. The only thing that should be necessary to hold an event is to get a speaker, get them to write one paragraph about what they're going to talk about, and send it out to the mailing list, right? That's easy enough to do. That makes it easy to have events. And if you are having events and people are meeting regularly, then the community starts to form automatically, right? Basically reduce the friction for having an event. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that in addition to in-person events, there should be some sort of an online mechanism where people can discuss things, right? That way, even people, because for a physical event, maximum you'll have 50, 100 people attending. But it is very easy for a community to grow to thousands of people over time, as long as you give them a place where they can hang out, ask each other questions, have discussions, and so on. So you have to have some sort of a place like that. It can be a mailing list, it can be a meetup.com group, or it can be a Facebook group or something like that. But have that, so that a community should basically be both things. It should be offline events where people get to meet each other personally and know each other. Plus, it should be an online thing where there is daily contact of some sort. These two things is what will drive the community. The third and important thing for a community is that there have to be a few people who, initially at least, a few people have to do all the work. The community doesn't form by itself, and just because you announced a community, people don't start coming or contributing or something, right? A lot of work needs to be done. Events need to be organized. The online, whatever software or forum you are using, that there has to be somebody doing moderation. There has to be somebody putting up things there. Somebody writing articles. Somebody writing blogs, right? So initially, the person who created the community needs to do all of this himself or herself, right? Only after a few years, when the community has grown to thousands of people, will this start becoming more automatic and easier, and people will contribute. But initially, nobody contributes, right? It has to be the originators. So there have to be someone who takes on the responsibility of doing this and understand that you have to do this. You can't complain that nobody else is contributing, so why should I? Don't think like that.
Yes.
Over time, it will happen.
Yeah. So let's consider your startup, that
Yeah.
is Reliscore, right?
Yeah.
So how you use that platform
Yeah.
to create, the community the community you have formed. So how you can give some tips that how you can form a community comparing your startup, like Reliscore.
No, I didn't understand the question.
So let's consider a startup called VR Startup. They are working on VR. And they want to make a community in VR people, right?
Yeah.
VR enthusiastic. So how they can build it? So you can, what you think about that?
So I think
The social media and all that. So
see,
how
one
we can
thing you
use
have
that?
to be clear on is that a community and a startup are two different things, right? Your startup is about you, right? And you want certain things. A community has to be about the community. It can't be about your startup.
Yeah.
Okay. Now they can both be in related fields, but over time their interests will diverge. So, if you have a community in, say, VR AR, when you are managing the community, you have to think of it as a community. Don't bring your startup into that. Right? So you have to do, whenever you're doing anything regarding the community, taking decisions regarding the community, make sure that you take decisions which are in the best interest of the community, not which are in the best interest of your startup, right? Especially important it is to keep your commercial interests out of the community. That way people will find it easier to join your community. If they think this is a community of your startup, people are not going to join that community. It is no longer a community, right? It's a customer group. So, but as long as you are able to keep this separation, obviously if your startup is in VR AR space and there is a community of VR AR enthusiasts, then there will always be some overlap and some ways in which the community ends up helping your startup, and some ways in which your startup can contribute to the community.
Yeah.
But it is important to think of these two as different things, and you keep a clear separation in your mind. So when you are wearing your startup hat, you do things for your startup, but then at that time don't bring the community into it. And when you are working for the community, shut off your startup thought process and don't do things which are in the interest of your startup. Do things which are in the interest of the community.
So that's it for the interview.
Yeah.
We thank you, Navin Kabra, for helping us to get an interview section. And anything you want to say? Something? Thank you, and thanks for watching PuneTech. Here is Arjun and Omkar. See you next time.